you can connect with your own psychic gifts, knowing that as you do so, it is awakening codes from ancient times, including those from the Anunnaki. Over a period of about 500 or so years, the Anunnaki started to create humans that had more of the psychic gifts and higher cognitive functions activated than the rest of the members of their world. And they built the secret society themselves, connecting members of many different parts of the world together in a global network, and sharing with them their plans to leave, and that from now on, the tendency to worship, serve, and bow down to, that all of the humans had done to the Anunnaki would now be done to these ruling elite, who would inform the world populace of the occasional visits from the Anunnaki that would eventually stop. And from then on, these ruling elite created new gods.
So why are we no longer docile?
The original psychic coding of the Anunnaki is waking up in the masses. The Anunnaki could only prevent those psychic codes from awakening for a period of time that did last for quite a while. But eventually, these genes that are more powerful become more dominant in the species, and it was destined that humans would come to live the true psychic nature of their creators at the right time.
I see. And did the elite at the same time become less psychic and less able in some ways over time?
Yes, because they are corrupted by their greed and their fear and many things that keep them trapped in the third and fourth dimensions.
Okay. In the original times when the Anunnaki were here, were they deliberately creating rituals and superstitions as a means of control or surveillance?
No, that came later.
That came later after the elite was installed.
Of course, there were rules in the Anunnaki society of what could be done and couldn't be done, but we wouldn't say that they were especially instilling superstition.
Okay. I'm quite surprised by the relationship you talk of as loving from the earliest moments, the loving relationship like humans with dogs. That changes a lot of our understanding, because I imagine the Anunnaki using technology to impress and control the humans. But did it emerge? Did it change from a loving relationship to a more power sort of relationship?
No, that came later. The initial ruling elite was far less corrupt than what you experience now in your world. In your world, you are in the end of this cycle, and it has to be a dark and destructive time to break those old agreements to come into a new time that is inherently more egalitarian.
Are the Anunnaki gone completely, or will they come back in some way?
The original Anunnaki are gone from their connection on a material level, so they won't be revisiting you. No. But the descendants of the Anunnaki may come to connect with you after the initial open contact, as they as well participate in the Intergalactic Alliance.
And do they have a different name, or are they still Anunnaki?
They go by many names. One, we can call them the Anukai.
Okay, I think I just have one final question, and then maybe see if there's some comments you want to make. But in some of the history, there is the idea that the Anunnaki were like fish, or they had heads like fish, or costumes like fish. And then later, the bishop's hat is said to be mimicking the fish shape on top of the head. What's that about?
It's a symbol of the Piscean Age.
So it's not that the Anunnaki dressed as fish or came out as water in the way that some historical accounts talk about that.
They did sometimes submerge their ships in the water and come out of the water. They have some connection to aquatic beings. But no, they did not emerge from the water.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other details you'd want to share with us today in this whole topic?
You can connect with your own psychic gifts, knowing that as you do so, it is awakening codes from ancient times, including those from the Anunnaki. And these genetic codes and markers are present and available in all of you. It's just a matter of whether or not you tune into it. The key in going beyond the veil is letting go of fear and opening yourself to trust your own excitement. That is the same as trusting your intuition. And the more you become surrendered to this, the more you will know exactly what to do and when to do it, and trust the process that guides you. And this will certainly bring you to awaken and go beyond the old programs that are from the ancient times and might have served the creation of the human race, but no longer serve in this present time. As you do this, the less you will bow down and place your power outside of yourself. Anyone who does that steps inherently into a victim role and a powerless role. Then they become dependent on those they worship. And as this is the predominant mode of operation for most humans in your world, most become powerless. When you follow your excitement and you awaken your deep intuition and come to trust it by applying those other aspects of the formula of having no insistence on particular outcomes and doing the best you can, you will go beyond that tendency to idolize and participate in hierarchical structures that don't serve you in connecting with yourself. The awakening of the now is that everyone has a higher self and an inner knowing. And that you as human beings are co-creative. Other people around you have the clues and have the intel and the information that helps you to tune in with the part of you that knows what's right. And you are participating in the living mirror of life with all of the beings you know, and also the signs and symbols that the universe manifests before you. and also the psychic communications that your guides and the other beings around you present to you. Though knowing that you are the one who steps into the consciousness of the witnessing higher self and allows this energy to work gives you the power. And remembering that infinite power within you is the way that you as humans break the cycle of the patterns instilled within your consciousness collectively by the Anunnaki. We will say that understanding the history and energy of the Anunnaki is important. Don't think of the Anunnaki themselves as a threat, because they were not, like any beings, they were not entirely good or bad. It is not dualistic in that sense. And they were, in a sense, evolved and doing something to support themselves and you at the time. But their misguided conditioning led to the creation of dark secret societies in your world who still, in a sense, worship the Anunnaki, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the Anunnaki themselves are bad, just in the same way that Jesus or Buddha could not be bad just because some people who worship them don't live the teachings of those beings. So it is more these secret societies and the Illuminati and the other sorts of dark controlling forces in your world that you ought to be concerned about. For the Anunnaki themselves no longer are interested in your planet or connected with it. There are other extraterrestrial beings that have soul agreements with your world at this time.
On the spaceship of Babel, we are gliding through the stars on a 5-year mission beyond Jupiter and Mars, a celestial encounter on a future Noah's Ark, and you won't hear us coming as we whisper in the dark. There's an Ewok close behind me as we try to disembark here. Obi-Wan Kenobi as we whisper in the dark. Whisper in the dark. In the hold, we all practice Ayurveda so we won't be growing old. As we speak our further minor with the strangeness of a quark, you can hear us on the phone as we whisper in the dark. Whisper in the dark. Betelgeuse is brilliant as we sizzle like a spark. I am lying, Alice singing as we whisper in the dark. Whisper in the dark.